right, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for
Bojack Horseman, Season 6, Episode 15. We've known that this episode would happen since, Episode 11 of Season 1.
The penultimate episode of the series. It is not Episode 11, but it is the penultimate episode of the final season, which is the final.
It's the second to last episode of the season to end all seasons.
Right. This will be one for the history books. And I kinda hope we break formula because this is not an episode 11. And yet we also hold almost that formula for a portion of this episode.
Right. We are teed up perfectly for it to be another episode 11.
Right.
At the same time, we had that bit of the bender and stuff leading into this and everything, and I'm sure Bojack's probably going to have consequences because this isn't your house anymore.
Right. Your life is about to end.
Right. Oh, then the dad wakes up, who the fuck are you?
Right.
Get out of our house, calling the cops, But that look on Bojack's face as he turned the TV off.
Right.
As painful as it is, that gives me hope that this won't be another episode 11.
Well, I think it won't be because we're going to do something different in a either worse way or more sideways kind of way, in which will make the finale maybe more of the episode 11.5 kind of style.
Well, because this is the whole question, right?
Because we've resolved so much of the side character stuff that there's not really much more to go through with there, so we have to basically give these 2 episodes to Bojack.
But we can't have a 12 episode, right? Because that would normally be the reset to prep us for the next season.
That's my point.
But there's no next season.
That's my point. I think we're gonna have an 11 and a half episodes spread out over these next 2 episodes.
Damn.
And then we're gonna have a half episode at the end where it's this is the epilogue. This is the final stuff, Or they could go even ballsier and they could set us up with a very just hard cut, just boom, show's over.
Yeah, they could. I feel like, so on the one hand, I'm ready. On the other hand, I don't feel like I ever could be ready.
No, I don't think I ever could be ready.
But
there's so many things that they've set up that are kind of up in the air, not character related, but thematically kind of poignant stuff that they can knock as a checklist in this episode. But you could also save them for the finale. You could save a lot for the finale. We know how quick pacing wise Bojack as a series can move within the 25 minutes that a typical episode will have.
I don't think we're getting another Todd shenanigans B plot.
For
God,
this. No, definitely not.
But
I would love if we're gonna have any other side characters in this. It's got to be Diane. It's got to be Diane.
Yep.
And I think I want it to be Todd. But I want it to be Todd, serious Todd, you know. Hollyhock could also be cool too.
Hollyhock could definitely be in there.
Yeah. But this is going to be wild.
It's going to be wild.
Yeah. I'm ready for the flashbacks.
I'm ready for the flashbacks. Over the course of us watching this show, you have seen me be in denial levels of optimistic, time and time again. Yeah. And the thing is, I still want to be.
Right.
I still want that happy ending. If there's a way to do it.
If there's a way
to do it and have it be satisfying and not be, minimizing of how shitty, all the shitty things Bojack has done, right? But, okay. Let's go.
Yeah, y'all, without further ado, let's get into this. Oh, yes.
That's a
Let's
start.
Be experimental here, yeah.
Oh.
I think it's a hydrangea.
Does she even like that kind of plant?
She doesn't like anything.
Hello, Bojack.
Oh my gosh.
Oh.
Holy shit.
Bojack is here.
Shit.
Oh, okay.
Fuck.
Oh, a plant. Dirt for inside. Goody.
Oh my god.
Bro's in the afterlife.
Yeah.
Bro's we're in media resing this shit.
Is this actually what they're going to do? Is that it's just, because they could do that.
He's doing some kind
Bojack's
of
dead. It's
he's doing some kind of Lost ending where they meet up at the church and
no,
have
right. But that in a lot of ways that could work because they could just be like Bojack off screen unalived himself. The family
He jumps off the edge here. You know?
Yeah, like the family just wakes up the next day and dead body, right? Like
just lying in the pool, you know? That's what this could be.
Right. Just like the painting, you know? But like,
and then this could be the serendipitous fake, you know, like beyond death point that he just kind of stays in.
You got here just in time, Bojack. A bird flew in through the
Love
window
it.
and we're having trouble getting her out of the house.
Yo, she's more coy than a coyote claiming a cottontail.
Whoa.
Zach Braff, actor, independent filmmaker, real-life friend of Donald Faison.
You mean my butler?
At your service. Phone call for you?
I'll take it in the kitchen.
I love this decision though. This is
Useful for a change and help, will you? With the bird.
Yeah, and the painting's up there.
Oh.
All right, that does it. Son of a... Hooey! With a drop like that, you'd think she was the ratings for Veronica's Closet when it moved to Monday. Finally made it to our little soiree, huh?
Yeah, I kept having this dream where I was having dinner with all the people who were gone, and I thought I should do that. So here I am.
Okay, so it's just a dream?
Cracker Jack?
That's what it says on my underpants.
The uncle I never met and yet could never live up to.
Ready? Aim.
Huh?
Hey, what's up, man? Still with it out? Because the last time you saw me, I was naked, hanging from an iPhone charger, holding a lemon with a very erect penis, despite being deceased in my trailer for over an hour. You don't have to get over that, buddy.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Stop it.
Oh, sorry. Forgot where I was for a second.
Think this'll help?
Kid's got the right idea. We can chuck the choker and spook her with this poker.
Get her to the kitchen.
The music, though.
Yeah. Oh, this is heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Speaking of useless, my husband is running late, so we're gonna start dinner without him.
He'll be here before the show starts, won't he?
He'd better be. Let's adjourn to the dining room before our dinners get as cold as my parenting style.
Like,
Yeah, that dream transition just...
First time someone asked for my autograph.
Oh, dang, she's getting older.
I didn't even know how to write my name. I just drew a squiggle.
Water?
Oh, and they're different types of food, too.
oh.
Time it becomes an obligation. The third time a chore.
Whoa.
The first time, the first time.
Oh. The tar pit.
Yeah.
The tar pit, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
my turn.
Fuck.
We've gotten so prepped to be ready for the stuff that Bojack does to us.
I don't know we can
I'm
beat
not
you.
ready for
Corduroy,
this.
it's a conversation, not an assignment.
In that case, I have 3.
No, 3 is way too many.
Oh, what killed them?
At least your death was instantaneous. I can still hear the loud drips of my IV from when I had cancer.
What about you, Bojack?
Whoa.
Best part, worst part. What about you?
Well, I guess my worst part has to be, right before I got here, I think. I went to Angela Diaz's house. Does anyone else's water taste like chlorine? Hey, Braff, can I get some different water over here?
Cracker Jack, do you think your death meant something because it was in the service of a greater cause?
I think questions like that are too big for a little soldier like me.
My brother gave the ultimate
Because
sacrifice.
sometimes I wonder.
But see, this is where I get hung up. The idea of sacrifice, of loss, of suffering.
Bojack, don't start with this again.
When we grow up in a house that does that, internalize this idea that being happy is a selfish act, but sacrifice doesn't mean any. Sacrifice
She's
in the
getting
service
older,
of something
yeah.
greater, maybe, but just in and of itself, what's the good in that?
A
Right.
lot. It has to be because I sacrificed a ton and I was freaking awesome. Everything. I gave my whole life.
You died in a hedonistic bender.
I'm not talking about my death. I'm talking about my life.
Right.
Whole life.
If we get into everyone's whole life, we're gonna be here all night.
Worst part, the 2007 Sexually Confident Virgin Tour. My manager leaked nudes to get more tour dates added. My mom pointed out every carb I ate. It was hell. Millions of fans, a show they will never forget, and that is worth something.
No, that's a high you chase. It's the same thing as this guy who died
We
liberating
don't
the
need to
camps.
compare apples to Auschwitz's.
I mean, I was trapped in an airport during a snowstorm on the eve of the dance championship guest starring Gregory Hines episode away from an Emmy. Then I lost it all.
Ow, seriously, is no one noticing this leak?
Fine, you'll hold the bucket.
But the funny thing is, it wasn't until I got fired that I actually became myself. I was out of the closet. I was free.
What does being authentic have to do with anything?
Well, when I wasn't hiding behind some facade, I could be at peace. When I really got into philanthropy.
Did you get pleasure from your charity work?
It dwarfed every other joy in my life.
Doesn't count
Wow.
then. If you got pleasure, it wasn't selfless. And it's only good if it's selfless.
Who made up that rule?
Yeah. Yeah.
Who cares if it made me feel good too?
Feeling good is inherently selfish. If I give myself to Christ, truly went down the path.
I don't care for this talk of religion in my house.
If I wasn't constantly trying to feel good, that was my worst part. Well, one of the 3 worst parts.
Discovering you in your trailer definitely cracks my top 5.
This is bullshit. I did a lot for a lot of people. I was not a bad person. You all are, with your being authentic and charity work and killing Nazis.
I actually never killed a Nazi. All my kills were friendly fire.
Your husband just pulled up, ma'am.
Wait, Dad's here?
Did any of you have a song of yours played in outer space? My hit single, No, 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 parentheses, no means yes, is making its way to Mars. I will be remembered. That has to mean something. I will be...
Sorry I'm late. Did I miss the show?
Whoa.
It's not like we have anywhere to be. Why shouldn't we all bend ourselves to your schedule?
I already apologized. I was running.
Yes,
Whoa.
And now I'm running out of patience for you running your mouth.
and I'm running out the clock until we both... Well,
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll just squeeze in here.
We're playing best part, worst part. Ooh, I got one. Machu Picchu. When I left horsing around, I honestly thought about killing myself.
Really?
Yeah, but the Knicks were having a good season, and I wanted to see what happened.
Wait, you didn't kill yourself because the Knicks were having...
Hey! You know?
Find whatever reason you can.
Where's your follow-through? It's like you didn't even want to kill yourself.
And I'm so glad I didn't.
Yeah.
10 years later at Machu Picchu, and I realized there was so much more I could do.
August 22nd, 1973.
Whoa.
I was banned from running ever again. Well, that was the only thing that ever made sense to me, so if I couldn't
He's
do
putting
that,
off
I was nobody.
eating.
This is your worst part?
Best part, jumping off that bridge. It was my choice. I got to go on my own terms. A lot of people can say that.
No.
That's true.
The view from up there. You wouldn't believe.
Oh. Oh my god, this is a nightmare.
Yeah.
Fuck.
oh, are you swimming?
Yeah, when
In
was
a
I
pool?
swimming? Don't think
In the
about
tar
that.
pit.
Do you have a best part?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. This past year, I took a teaching job, and I had this
Yeah.
one student who was really struggling.
You helped him do good in a scene for your class? That's the best part of your whole life.
The echo of the bucket.
Yeah.
What was so special about that moment?
Yeah.
Felt
Tell
good
us.
to help someone.
Helping someone, like I
Yeah.
said.
But
Yeah.
he liked it because it felt good.
I liked it because it reminded me of when I was young, just starting out. You and me
Right.
screwing around, hitting
Right.
up on mics, trying to figure it out. I think
Yeah.
that was the best part.
Really?
Are we ready to start
Wow.
the show?
Okay, nice seeing you all. Oh, this is always the part where I wake up. You all go to the show. Zach Braff says, pardon my reach, even though he can clearly get my plate from another angle. Then I wake up.
Oh, next time then.
Pardon my reach.
Hello, everyone. Please take your seats.
Oh my god. Oh my god. The idea that he's had this dream over and over again.
Tonight's opener needs no introduction, but I'm going to give her one anyway. Ladies and gentlemen, the one, the only, Sarah Lynn!
Yeah, of course.
I'd like to dedicate tonight's
Nice shot of the
performance
sky.
to the man of the hour, Bojack Horseman!
Sarah Lynn, I'm so sorry for everything that happened. I should have protected you.
Bojack, this is my time.
Yes, of course. Sorry.
God, the moon.
Life is a never-ending show, old sport.
Wow.
The minor detail that it ends. The overture's a lifetime, but the show is short. Here with all your family and friends. Put your face on shirts and shrines and giant signs 1,000 feet tall. Don't stop dancing till the
Curtain call. I did not think they'd bring this song back.
Yeah.
Those are a never-ending life, of course. A silhouette that stays when you are gone. The chatter stops, the crowd departs,
Yeah.
A needle drops, the music starts. Song you taught me when I was small. Don't stop dancing.
Sarah Lynn.
Okay, performing an interpretive aerial routine. Corduroy Jackson Jackson!
Where does this door go?
Sit down, buddy. You'll get your turn.
You'll get your turn. Yeah.
Please give a warm, burning hot welcome to
Yeah. Grab a smoke.
Zach Braff.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anywhere else?
What's on the other side of that door? The nerve of that guy. Herb. What, he says he's at peace? Because why? Machu Picchu? I don't know. I believe him. I promise you, every single person in that room would go back if we could.
Whoa.
Peace? That's someone trying to convince himself of something. What? That life has meaning. That if you check the right boxes and do the dance, then you get a little parting gift at the end. Congratulations, you've got peace. I wouldn't mind that. But guess what? All the time those people spent trying to do good, I did none of that shit.
Right.
And yet here I am,
Yeah.
same as them. You were the fastest runner in the world. Here I am, same as you. So if you could go back, do it again, what would you do different? I wouldn't have cared so much. Cared about what? Racing? About everything. But
Right,
speaking as
because
your dad, it's
raised
important
you.
that you know that I cared. No, you never cared. You cared about getting drunk and telling everyone how miserable you were, but that's not caring.
And they're all like little projections of him. Yeah.
But I cared so much, Bojack, about you, about your mother. I wanted you to respect me. I wanted you to love me. I was so afraid that you would know that. I cared so much. It's a shame that we could never talk like this in real life. At least we got the chance this time, before I wake up. Wake up? Oh, you're not getting it, are you?
Yeah. 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 Just like that.
We dance with the shadows of their absence. I present to you.
Stop the show!
Excuse me?
What's happening?
You're being very rude. Whoa, 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 no, please! I'm not ready. I never got to direct my Backdraft remake.
And then the piano, yeah.
I never got to license the Zach Braff short stack breakfast attack at Shake Shack. Cash strap hash brown fans who hashtag Zach Snacks get cash back fast with the Braff bucks. Ah!
That was amazing. That was amazing.
I can't be here.
Of course. Everything's always
Yep.
about you.
Yep.
How did I get here?
How the hell should I know?
I broke into my house. I was watching the Horsin' Around Blu-ray. Yes,
Right.
yes, and I drank some more swimming.
Yeah.
No, wait. I
Right.
got out of the pool. Yes,
Right.
and I called Diane.
Bojack.
I couldn't have drowned if I got out of the pool to call Diane, so I shouldn't be here.
Did he? Oh, in the OP, Diane comes and finds him.
Yeah.
Diane and peanut butter.
Come and see him before he makes a run for it.
No, stop.
It's Secretariat!
Yeah.
Flying off the handle won't change a thing.
This was gonna happen to you one of these days.
A poem. Original, obviously.
Yeah.
It's called The View from Halfway Down.
Fuck.
The weak breeze whispers nothing. The water screams sublime. His feet shift, teeter-totter. Deep breath, stand back, it's time. Eyes locked shut, but peek to see. The view from halfway down. I'm not done, hold on, I'm not done. A flood of fond endorphins brings a calm that knows no equal. You're flying now. You see things much more clear than from the ground. It's all okay. Were you not now halfway down? All I'd give for toes to touch the safety back at top. I changed my mind. I changed my mind. I don't want to.
It's okay.
The deed is done. Silence drowns the sound. Before I leaped, I should have seen the view from halfway down. No, I really should have thought about.
Find your peace, big guy. Find it.
I wish I could have known about the view from halfway down. Oh, I need to get out of here. But
EJ.
Yelling and struggling isn't gonna pull your body out of that pool. So you might as well just
Sit down.
Oh.
It's possible that someone is going to find you and save you, and it's also possible that someone won't.
has anyone ever come back from this place?
BJ, there is no place. Your brain going through what it feels like it has to go through.
Yeah.
All you can
Yeah.
do right now is sit back and enjoy the show. Beatrice Horseman with her younger, older brother, Cracker Jack!
Yeah. Okay. This is a masterpiece. This is perfection. This is incredible.
Golly.
Yeah. Yeah.
And now, the easy part.
Over and out. Ha!
Wow. Wow. God damn.
Wow, Beatrice Horseman, huh? You know, she was gonna sing for us tonight, but apparently she was a little hoarse.
And of course, Herb's the final one. Yeah.
Please welcome to the stage.
No.
Please.
The star of Horsing Around.
Yeah.
And the Bojack Horseman Show. The upcoming horny unicorn. Son of Butterscotch and Beatrice. Father to none that we know of. Stand-up comedian. Actor. Crippling alcoholic. Talented charmer. And a stupid piece of shit. Bojack.
Fuck.
That's so perfect that that's the last one.
Is it terrifying?
No, it's the way it is, you know. Everything must come to an end. The drip finally stops.
See you on the other side.
Oh, Bojack, no, there is no other side.
Yeah.
This is it.
Yeah.
I need to make a phone call. Someone.
Oh my god. Wow.
Diane, are you there? Diane, I need you. God, Diane. Okay, Diane, you're gonna save me, right? I called you and you're coming to get me?
Bojack, why did you call me? I live in Chicago. I can't save you.
You didn't pick up.
Right.
It went to voicemail. And then I went back in the pool.
Oh my god.
It's too late. What's done is done. There's nothing I can do, Bojack. I'm not real.
So what do I do now?
Bojack, doesn't matter.
Can I stay on the phone with you at least?
Okay.
How was your day?
Good. Yeah. My day was good.
Episode. That was the penultimate episode. Wait. 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 Oh my god. Bojack's dead. Damn. I have to say, the decision to no context immediately start us in a dreamscape afterlife post-death kind of nebulous mental space is brilliant. But I would say even more brilliant was who they chose to have be here.
Yep.
Because there are a lot of characters that passed away in this show.
Right. There's the ones that are like obvious and would have to be there. Right.
Sarah Lynn.
Herb, Sarah Lynn.
And
his
Herb,
mom,
yeah.
You know, yeah.
His mom, yeah.
But then there's the other ones that don't necessarily.
Yeah. But their presence added so much. The conversation at the table, the Last Supper, if you will, the idea of the father potentially arriving, and then its fucking secretariat was genius.
Yeah.
Then having the show that has to go on, and Sarah Lynn bringing back that song, and then having this all coincide with the seeping of the tar pit coming through the house was all just beautiful callbacks, immaculate callbacks. This is a reward. Despite it being so dark and nihilistic of an end here, it feels like a fucking reward after this crazy series because there's still one more episode. Right. And that's the beep, beep, beep at the end.
Right.
Is that there's something after this.
Well,
yet,
it's possible that Bojack isn't actually dead.
Well,
right.
Right.
Yeah, this was a perfect, beautiful, and haunting episode of television, and I kind of don't want to talk about the details of the episode because I feel like that's a disservice to like like it almost feels like I would be disrespecting you, the viewer, and also the episode itself, because this is such a good episode that you don't need me to tell you what is incredible about this episode.
In a lot of ways,
it speaks for itself.
Right. In a lot of ways, it speaks for itself. But this is something where we, as the viewer, then have the very, very fun question that the show almost asks us as if it can ask us about.
Yeah.
It's like, have you thought about your death?
Right.
Have you thought about your death?
Yeah.
You should. You should. Because you don't know really what life is until you're looking at it on the view halfway down. Like that poem was so fucking good and made me like think about the kinds of things that people talk about with regards to death, of like, oh, there's a lot of clarity you get when you have like a near-death experience, for instance.
Sure.
Like I know a lot of people that have nearly drowned, where they like had that moment where they were like, oh shit, I might drown, I might die. And then they get saved, right? And in that moment of like pure fear and then surrender, there's like a peace. There's something that you could quantify and that the people at the table would be like, no. You didn't find some peace at Machu Picchu or what have you. You only find that at the moment at the very end when you're like realizing, oh, that's it. This is it. It's over. But I find, and actually maybe we should preface this a little bit. If you are not comfortable talking about death, death as a whole, here,
and or maybe specific methods of death.
No. Like I'm not going to get into even that. I'm just talking about the subject matter of hearing two people. I don't want to assume specifically, but at the very least, me talking about death and thoughts about mortality and stuff like that. This might not be the discussion for you.
Right.
I wouldn't watch any more at this point because there are some things that I felt inspired to talk about here.
Sure.
But you might not feel great about listening to. But you did watch this episode. So at the very least...
Yeah, you came to watch the reaction to this episode.
Which is the, hey, have you ever, thought about death? And this is kind of been what the show's been leading up to for a while. And now I'm just like kicking myself that the foreshadowing is so fucking obvious and so over the top and so repetitive and consistent that I'm like, oh, I was trying to make it deeper than it actually was.
Oh, yeah.
This is a dream Bojack's had for a while. Bojack has been near missing this whole scene and song and dance and show for a while now.
Right, to the point where the song is a song we've been shown before, right? And the whole thing from the OP, it's like, oh, this is just a metaphor to showcase the situation, and we had the whole deal with the Tesla, but no, he's actually going to, like, it's in the pool. That's where shit goes down. Will Diane come look over the edge of the pool? You know?
And while it might be that's where they find his body and everything is their helicopter and what have you, it might also be the metaphorical tar pit kind of thing of where it's the, Bojack lives and it's the, in order to basically have, himself, freed from the tar pit, he needs, people like Mr. Peanut Butter and Diane. We'll see. The next episode has a massive hurdle to cross in terms of making itself deserve to be the final episode after a show after an episode like this.
So here's something I want to point out that is a detail of the show oriented, right? But not regarding this episode, and that's why I feel like
it now.
Yeah. The amount of time that we had before, like between references to the tar pit.
Oh, right.
So the way that the tar pit was used in this episode is, of course,
immaculate,
right? But I don't think it would have been able to have that same kind of effect if it was something that was like done like frequently over the course of the show. And so the fact that it's just like, nope, that was a thing that was like back when, like
very beginning.
Yeah, the very beginning of the show.
Very first episode.
Yeah. And it's like and that's that. That's it. It's done, and like nah, it's been, many seasons since we've, had that reference, right? That good on you, show.
Yeah, great decision visually, narratively, and also as a callback. You got to call back to the beginning because one of the things that well-written shows like this can do, and just a benefit that they have, is that if you built themes that were consistent across the narrative all the way until the end, when you do a callback like this, you don't feel jarringly like brought back into something that we moved on from. You're like, wait, no, we adjusted. We're a different show from this point now. That feels lazy to bring it back. Where in this case, it's no, that's what the show has always been about, and it has never changed. So yes, it makes perfect sense that be the visual medium to display the inevitability of the end, you know? Just like the fact that the first F-bomb that was dropped was from Charlotte when she found Bojack and Penny together. Right. That this feels so fitting that it's we also saved this one, you know? Yeah. But okay, so personal experiences with the show. Personal stuff. So I think that in a lot of ways, Jacob's right. You can't really add too much more to the show in terms of things to point out and kind of highlight, or maybe just celebrate, because there's so much to celebrate. But I think that this show has succeeded somehow, in making me want to discuss the elements of death, life, and the meaning of it, and in some ways the nihilist's approach to the freedom that comes from setting yourself free of caring about all this, and then also the ways in which we get trapped up in potentially trying to add a self-imposed value of ourselves, or a self-perceived value, so that we can then have something that would make this life worth, more than, what it is. And that's something that I feel like is a good point that all the characters bring up in the little dinner here, is that everyone's trying to find their thing that will basically take the suffering of life, take the struggle of life, and reach some kind of serendipity, some peace, or not necessarily even some apex of a mountain or what have you, but just some good flows, some good vibes, Yeah. And it can be peace, it can be happiness, it can be love, it can be whatever. But I think the idea that all along in the story, the characters have been trying to tell Bojack that, you're keeping yourself, you're your own worst enemy. To simplify all the things I was about to say. Sure. You're your own worst enemy. So in that respect, you kind of need to get out of your own way. But also, you're hurting. You need to take this seriously. Mind if I take a stab at it? Yeah, go for it. So your own worst enemy, I think, is something that, like nihilism, is accurate, and so it's important to say, but it's also something that is a limited perspective that doesn't get the whole picture, and so to end it there is, it's not the best place. Yeah, foolhardy. Good word. Because the freeing aspect of it is that it also is entirely here. Yeah. Right? So yes, when you're having struggles, it's because you're the only enemy, right? And then, but also the victories, that's you, right? That's where you can get that power, because it's not something that's dictated by your circumstance, because when the circumstances that can seem so big, right? Because they are, right? And you have to deal with that and all of that. Right. But when you go for that, all right, scale things up to the meaning of life and existence and all that, none of that stuff matters at that point, right? Right. You're going so big that it's all infinitely small. Right. And so then it's just, all right, how are you going to approach it, right? Yes, none of this matters, right? You can't derive some meaning externally, right? That's going to be and now you don't have to worry about it, right? Right. Even if it's something that is based in an external, that's still something where then you are deciding internally to make that external thing the thing that works for you, right? And that's kind of all it is. Sure. In a kind of a simplistic but satisfying way, is that's it. You basically take your externals, your experiences, your environment, the people in it, or what have you, and you internalize them in order to elevate it. And yet, you are not some great, all-powerful god of will that can, decide with impunity all the things that are going to be put there. You have other people in your world doing the same thing. Right. They have also their own will and lack thereof, and then that all bumps into each other and makes this messy tar pit.
Right.
So in some ways, yeah, the tar pit's not going away.
Oh no,
we're not going to have some superhero that's going to cleanse the tar pit or what have you.
And that's why the nihilistic look is something that sticks around, is because it's inherent. It's like a shadow, right? Like using poetic language here, it's like the shadow of the brain that comes about because of consciousness, right? Like in that silence, those quiet spaces or whatever, right? You have life. There's gonna be this other stuff to it too, right? And just how do you deal with that? Everybody has to in their own different way, right? The thing that Bojack said in the interview of like, no, everybody's just trying to press the little button in their head that gives them those happy chemicals that tells them they're happy, right? Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
And
right? Like
that's
So how are you going to do that, right?
Right.
And if a swimming pool is your conclusion, okay. But maybe you'll get a
new perspective on the halfway down, the view halfway down.
Yeah.
The idea that the poem basically gets to the idea that the reason why I say you're your own worst enemy is because you aren't perceiving things right.
Sure.
You aren't. And the happy chemicals, if we're going to accept those as reality,
you got to accept.
We got to accept the fact that there's a lot of chemicals that are basically fucking with the way that you see things.
Yes.
And it's not because there's some great ultimate perception that you're going to see or what have you if you get all the chemicals lined up properly. I'm not like encouraging those people that are like, oh, if you get on the specific thing here, then you'll be able to, attain nirvana or some bullshit. No, what I'm saying is that there's something that happens, and we can't deny this. There's something that happens to the people that are about to die. And when they're about to die, they start to see things a little bit more clearly. And it's really weird. Joker even says it, in their final moments. People show you who they really are.
Sure.
And you could say that's they show who they really are, or they see other things clearly. It's neither here nor there. We're getting lost in the weeds trying to debate which way it is, actually.
Sure, but even saying more clearly, it's a different perspective.
It's a different perspective.
Because suddenly you have a very your world is simplified.
Right, but I will make the point that it's not that it's a completely new perspective.
Sure, yeah.
It's that it's a perspective that
it's unfettered.
Right. You don't have any, I would say, control over it necessarily. Maybe it's because of fear. Maybe it's because of the loneliness. Maybe it's because you see the door approaching or what have you, and you can't think of anything else. Who knows? But I think there are ways in which we as people are meant, and I think that's the point of art in this medium here, is to look at an episode like this and go, oh, this is what a view from halfway down kind of looks like. Maybe. It's an idea.
Sure.
It's an idea of what it could look like. It's not some special place.
Yeah.
It's not some special answer. It's not some special perspective. But it's to make you think for a second, what would it be like? And then I can cheat time. I can cheat this whole thing and go, what could I draw from this beautiful piece of art and apply here? What can
without
I take
needing
from this?
to be halfway down ourselves.
Without needing to be halfway down ourselves, yeah. I think that's fucking beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
There are so many times in art we get basically a look at someone else's life, right? And I think that's the beauty of art, is that someone else's life story helped create and inform that piece of art.
Right.
So then we then go and see something of humanity within it, because by our very nature we are beings that like to pattern match and stuff, and we are a bit selfish, egotistical little bitches, and stuff. So
absolutely.
We're then gonna try and insert it ourselves into that and try and draw it to us rather than learning something deep about humanity and shared life experience.
I mean, maybe, but I would say that's but
I'm saying that's the
even framing it like that is getting into that kind of like value conversation that they were having.
Totally.
Right?
But I'm saying that's a springboard to then go, oh wait, I do that. Oh wait, art can do that.
Right. That's why we tell stories.
Oh, that's why we tell stories. Holy shit.
This is something that answers kind of a question that I had in the back of my mind that ever since the season 5, the conversation with Diane, right? And also like hearing that additional bit of context of like, the show creators hearing that like a very particular person was a fan of the show, and they like Bojack as a character, and it's like, oh shit, are we just normalizing this? But the reason that you have these kinds of stories is to give the, that sort of pseudo-educational experience, right? Through something that's fake, right? We don't need to experience all these things. We don't need to be as shitty of a person as Bojack was. We can sort of look down that path and see it, right?
Yep. We have other people literally writing their own stories all around us.
Yeah, exactly.
Just look around.
Right.
It's not hard.
And so that's the direction that the show was. That's why this show exists, right?
Yeah, they were going to take us down a very painful journey in
Right.
someone's life.
A well-trodden thing that has been done many times, tons of times before in human history, and they have their own way that they're going to do it. But then once they're like, oh shit, wait, the meta thing, is this just going to be normalizing this? What do we do? There was a part of me that was like, oh, so are we deviating maybe from what the original purpose of the show was?
No.
Because now it's we need to show that like this is, really shitty. Maybe like we can't expect someone like Bojack to change all of those things.
No,
And because that is very much true, right? You don't want to slip into doing that as a result of trying to tell this story, right?
Sure.
And yet this episode was such a just perfect way to get at that because it has nothing to do with the other characters of the outside world, right? It's about Bojack.
It's about Bojack, yeah.
And so there we go.
Right. I don't think that they pivoted entirely into a different type of show's direction as far as like
what
the intended plan was for Bojack. But I do think that they very clearly had season 1 an idea for basically the spiraling down of a character, and we'd watch their descent into the tar pit, basically, slowly but surely.
Yeah.
The way that we got here, I absolutely think was changed on the way.
Oh, absolutely.
But the end probably just had some specific colors filled into certain spaces.
Oh yeah,
but other than that,
right.
The outline was all there.
Me bringing up that is not in any way a thing to like discredit the show, because anyone who thinks that a story is entirely planned out from the beginning doesn't understand how stories are made, I would say. Because even if you have a really, really freaking detailed outline, as you go, there will still be things that you didn't account for, right? And so that's all just part of the creative process, and that's maybe in a lot of ways also why it's so impressive when it happens,
right?
Because it's not some entirely planned from the beginning, and it's a gradient within that of, all right, how much of it is improvisational, jazz style? All right, let's figure this out. And that's why, no two stories are actually the same, right? Even if you have 2 people or 10 people that try and make the same story, it's going to be different every single time. And so, with an episode like this, that's why I don't want to try and talk about how awesome any of the details are, because it's art. It's a masterpiece. It speaks so loudly that I don't want to add my voice to that mix.
I feel inspired to talk. I don't know what the right adverb is here, but plainly, I guess, about mortality and life and death. And it's a beautiful thing to give. I don't know, it gives me inspiration in that regard. I feel like for me personally also, I've never been like one of those, like, how people have like top 10 like fears of humanity kind of things and stuff like that. And fear of their own death is like weirdly like not even like number 1.
No, it's like public speaking and
right, exactly.
Stuff, yeah.
But it's just the idea that it is still up there. Like it is still like one of the biggest fears. But I think for me, I'm young enough that this fear doesn't really enter my mind ever. But I know people of all ages, not literally every single age, but like every like generation age of where I'm at right now, that fear death. Like actively, when this kind of stuff gets brought up, they become terrified and they want to run. They cannot think about this.
Sure.
And so I almost feel like inspired to reach those people in a way with a voice that makes the view halfway down, the final moments, the point of that then become a celebration of life, a joyful show, not some kind of terrifying door.
Oh yeah.
But it's all about the the lights and who's there with you in your final thoughts and moments. Who's the hearts that end up reaching you with their words that resonated in your memories throughout all of your life. Like that's something that's so special, and it breaks my heart to think that like my favorite character that showed up here honestly was Secretariat. The idea that of all the characters here, the character of a character that represents the dad here, because Secretariat on the TV raised him basically.
Right.
But it's Bojack's voice.
Yeah.
It's Bojack's voice here.
Uh-huh.
Bojack also then raised Bojack.
Yep.
Bojack, all he had really was himself in the way that he viewed things.
Yep.
His own thing that he tries to play into in the second season or whatever it was when he becomes Secretariat, basically gave him his thing that should have gave him joy, life, and like laughter, fun, and peace, and all that. And it didn't. And so now he's there staring at it, and it's the one that's kind of pulls him away from the show for a little bit to have the tender moment of, I always loved you. I always cared for you.
Oh, sure. And
even though I find all this to be pointless, I still cared about you.
Right. Both the dad
and the dad and him.
Yeah.
Basically telling himself love. And it's the actual like saving thing for Bojack here was that he was able to love himself instead of being the useless piece of shit. You know?
The fact that was the
Oh, that was so good.
Of course.
But I just find that to be the thing that like almost broke me here was that, in the end, Bojack's alone. He's running from the tar pit.
Yep.
He has a fake Diane voice that is kind of his last little bit of solace and what have you. But it's not real. But actually the real tender, quiet moment that was real because it was him. And I also would love to analyze in a fun way the way in which all those characters represent certain aspects of Bojack's psyche. Like there's probably a really deep video that could be made of how
I'm
each
sure
of these
there's
characters.
many.
Oh no, totally, they already exist. But I'm saying like I
want to
feel
watch
like,
them.
I feel like I could make it with enough time of the how each of these characters represent a different thing of Bojack. So in the ways there's nobody around the table other than him, and they're all little reflections
because
and stuff.
You know this is all your brain, right?
Oh, totally. I'm meaning in the intended artistic like expression thing, not in the literal world building of how this. This
because it's the
dream here was constructed.
An episode like this does not need to be pinned down to just following logic or poetry. It does both, goddammit, because of course it does. Yeah. Right.
But I think it's a thing to be discussed in greater detail also in the context of whatever the fuck the next episode's gonna have.
That's gonna be wild.
Because you know what could happen? It just plays out linearly from when he turns off the TV.
It could.
And then
At the same
actually
time,
shows us what was the in media res potential stuff that we skipped over.
I like the idea though that it doesn't have to. So in the same way that like we skipped past the settling of the lawsuit, right? As a more extreme example, right? Of course we skip past that. Nobody wants to see court proceedings, right? You know, for an extended period of time, even though it probably took a while before the settlement, right?
Right.
Although technically it probably would have been out of court. So yeah. The content that has been brought up in the show in the past, right? You know, of like Bojack and death and all of that stuff. It's to the point where when it skips past these things and doesn't show them and just tells us about them, right? You know, one of the most fundamental rules, show don't tell. And yet that's not a problem because I fully feel like I understand what happened, you know? And then also they're able to use it as the Bojack isn't entirely recalling what happened, so there's added use that they get out of it there.
Yeah.
But I really want the next episode to follow like chronologically after. Because I need.
That's what I was saying. So what do you mean chronologically after?
No, not showing the stuff leading. Through this. Because
So you're saying he's already dead.
Well, not necessarily dead, but
so
like
what point are you talking about chronologically after?
in the pool, I guess. Right.
Okay.
Like
so
already
about like 30 seconds basically after what I was talking about. So like, because he supposedly has like a little bit of a time where he.
Yeah, he calls Diane and all that.
Yeah.
I just really need to see. I really need to see Diane looking over the edge of the pool if they end up doing that. And they might not, given that we had the whole heart rate monitor at the end. It might just be something where he's in the hospital, and people are visiting him, or he's dead and it's just the aftermath, right? Which they could totally do. There's been plenty of foreshadowing, up until now in the show for that to be a thing that happens.
Right.
But that part where he just says, "Well, then can I stay here with you on the phone? How was your day?" "Oh, it was good." Like that's such a nothing thing if you think about it, right?
Yeah.
And the kind of thing that Bojack would absolutely make some snarky remark about, of like, that's, whatever. But that just broke me. The needing, so desperately needing that human connection, right? Even if it's just the sound of someone's voice. Yeah, I really, 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 really want Bojack to not be dead.
Wow. I don't even think there's a chance even with this heart rate thing. I think the heart rate was basically us, like, because it started with a flat line. Oh yeah.
And then it went to a beat.
Yeah, and I think that is something where there's at the very least going to be a chance that if he gets revived in any way, it's for the purpose of a final conversation, and then he dies after.
Nah, and this, could totally be the hopium, all that stuff, but I do not hold to that. I am to misbehave.
Cool. I love it. We have different thoughts here because I think that there's.
They could totally do it with him being dead.
I think that there's something. I think there's something that actually like makes this more impactful if he's specifically dead, and it's taking us through a, like, not necessarily another perspective, but another way of looking at the end. And it's the idea that this one is Bojack alone, because I really do think that all those other people at the table represent him. But then it's the Bojack dies actually surrounded by people that do care about him. Well, and then it's another way of looking at it, basically.
And if you want to talk about, like, messages for the final episode to leave off on, and the idea of, unaliving and all of that, showing how even someone as fucked up as Bojack still have people whose lives are, turned upside down.
Every life is
as
valuable.
A result of this. If he does die,
every life is valuable, and because it's life. It's not something that can be fully taken away, despite there being people that make Bojack look like a kitten as far as like how good of a or bad of a person he was. So like. I very much want to have the other characters be the spotlight of the episode. I don't want it to get subverted by the Bojack is suddenly alive thing, because I feel like the way in which they see his life journey and what it meant gives some potential long-term value for the other, main character here, Diane, who's kind of gone on her own journey of self-discovery and self-actualization through especially the last season or so, like probably about half a season.
Yeah.
But okay,
all right.
I think that if we wanted to do the more typical deep dive into every single little part, I don't think we'd be able to emotionally handle most of it, but also just go into every single little thing here. But next episode's going to be a doozy, and there might be more kind of energy in us specifically for a discussion where we can talk about the series retroactively for that one there. But y'all, thank you so much for watching this episode's reaction and discussion. If you want to see the next episode's reaction and discussion right now, though, go check out the link in the description below for our Patreon. You get on early access there. You can watch full-length timer reactions there, and all this comes with Discord access, so you can chat with us in the community there about this show, about other shows in general, and also be sure to check out our Twitch channel. So yeah, if any of that interests you, we'll see you there. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all next time.